everybody. Hold on, I gotta get my cool shades on. It's bright out here. That's better. Today's the day. We're gonna be grabbing the Subaru from Jump Sport. However, they were having some issues with hesitation. They were thinking it's probably a coil pack going out or a spark plug issue, which I did have an extra set of spark plugs, and I've got my buddy messaged me, Max, who's got a set of coil plugs that I'm going to go pick up here, and I'm going to run them out, and we're going to get over there and we're going to swap all of that over, see if we can get rid of that hesitation issue, and then we'll see what we get with the E85. Fingers crossed. I think this is the culprit. Got the heat sink is all separated. So just gonna replace all 4 of those and some fresh plugs. So I get over there at Jump Sport to watch the dyno, and they'd been having hesitation issues. We determined it was probably spark, so I had some extra spark plugs that I threw in the car. I got a hold of Message Me Max. He is the Subaru parts guru of Michigan, used parts rather. So I got a hold of him. And he had like an entire thing full of used coil packs. So I grabbed 6 of them, thinking I only needed 4, but wanted to make sure since they're used that I had backups in case some of the ones he had weren't good, which is always a risk with used ones. So I grabbed a couple extra, and I'm glad I did. Got there, Jump Sport swapped over all the spark plugs and all of the coil packs with 4 of them that I had brought, and then watching it kick into gear and stutter. And so they determined that to try and figure out what was going on, because one of the only few drawbacks of having that aftermarket ECU is that it can't tell you specifically which bank or which cylinder is misfiring. They can just tell you there's a misfire. So they decided, well, let's swap out the coil, the 2 additional coil packs on the driver's side. Swap those out. Still misfiring. Still misfiring. So they took the 2 that they took off the driver's side and swapped those over to the passenger side. And then this was the result. that was only 290 crank horsepower. I think it was like 270 something wheel horsepower. However, that was the end of the day. I needed to get going, so I didn't get to see the poll with the final numbers. But the final numbers were 350 horsepower, 350 torque. And I know some of you are gonna probably, you know,
go, oh, typical Subaru, $10,000 worth of work, you got 300 wheel horsepower.
But I will let you know the dyno that they use is a Mustang Dyno, which always reads low. He said on average it's 10 to 20% lower on all-wheel drive vehicles. He said it could be upwards of 25% lower. So on any other dyno, that could be 400. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I might find out if somebody's got a Dynajet around here or something and just do a poll and see what it comes up with. I'd be very curious. But yeah, he said he liked the nice round 350, 350. The other kind of limiting factor was I've got the top mount intercooler from STI in there, which is pretty limiting, and intake air temperatures weren't ideal. This aftermarket carbon fiber hood mixed with having the STI top mount, I don't have ductwork on it, so I really need to get some ductwork done and make sure that it's getting fresh air. But he suggested that maybe I look into like a Process West top mount, which I agree would look beautiful in that engine bay. Or maybe I might consider a front mount. I think if I do a front mount, I don't want to do a giant one that I've got to cut up the bumper for. I want to try and keep this thing as OEM plus as possible and not cut up too much. So yeah, so that 350 feels stout. I mean, it's got a nice wide power band. On the street, it's plenty of power so far. I ain't even messed around with going into sports sharp mode yet. I didn't find out the actual number, but Jake was saying that he was going to try and maybe reach 23 PSI. So I should find out what he got.